Okay, so I've just been filming for like the last half an hour. I promised the family I was going to keep it short. So I met Kyle out at Bradenton Motorsports for Cleats and Cars. And one of the first things I asked him was what I promised you guys I was going to ask a while back. And like, what the fuck pistons were you running in that 700 horsepower stock sleeve H22? And I was like, were they the mall golds? And he said, yes, they were. I was like, did they score up the cylinders? Yes, they did. They did, but it wasn't like crazy. Like, it's one of those things where you could see the marks of the damage, but it was running. Now, he did tell me that he had a red top H22 that some of you guys may recognize more than I have. I've watched Boosted Boys content, but I haven't watched it as much as I've watched like Humble Performance and some of these other guys. I'm going to remedy that now. I finally subscribed to the channel, and I am going to be doing as much catch up as I can on the shit that's more relevant to the shit that I care to know about, and then go from there, right? But he said he had a red top H22 that had stacked up a lot of miles on it, and they were all hard miles. I think he said he was making around 500 or something like that. Could be wrong, but he said that engine's still running strong with the mall golds. So in the last time I talked about some situation about the H22, I said if the mall golds are scarring up the cylinders, and maybe the other, like the other pistons would, then maybe you could, potentially get away with it. I'm not sure. I don't have a side-by-side comparison between, standard like Wiseco pistons versus malls, right? So I don't know if one does more damage than the other, but I think, and this is what I told him too, like I have ascendant mentality for a lot of things. Like even my NA VTEC killer I have is built off scrap parts. The crank is healthy, but the block was scarred up enough where I couldn't sell it, but not scarred up too much where I don't feel comfortable running it. So I guess it's a similar situation with the block. And then one of my pistons has like pit markings on it from where like debris had fallen into the cylinder. So I consider that like a trash engine, and I imagine I'm going to make the power that I want to make off of it, and it's going to run for a while, I imagine, unless I fucking break something on the track. So yeah, it's one of those things where I said I would chime back in on. I guess if you're an H22 guy and you're worried about the FRM sleeves, you could just go with the send mentality. Build the engine and just send it out. If it's something that you're looking for, that you want to lower the chances of having to do a rebuild after a certain time goes by, then I would suggest you just getting another platform, because right now nobody offers anything widespread on the market that can avoid sleeves. So like if you don't want any damage done to your cylinder walls from pistons, you got to get rid of the FRM. You got to go sleeves. You got to go with sleeves, right? Like I did mention like earlier in the year that Nippon Racing was working on a piston that was compatible with FRM, but I have not yet seen it hit the market. I have not heard any follow up on it. I guess I imagine the next time I'm face to face with Jesse, I will bring it up and I will ask and I'll get back to you guys. But as far as I know, the FRM compatible piston they were working on was only for the F series, the F20, the C out of the S2K. They didn't have it for the H22 yet. And even as far as I know, that piston hasn't gone into mass production. So I don't know. I don't know what's up with it. I don't know if they're still doing work on it or if the market's just not there, but that's all I know for it. So if you're an H22 guy and you're looking for a forged piston, the mall golds are going to damage your shit still, but apparently you can still run them with a good amount of time even with that damage there, and you can run them hard. If you are one of these guys that are super paranoid about your build being perfect, then go a different route, because go a different route or be prepared to shell out $1,300 for sleeving. Another thing is, guys, like I said, I've mentioned before a whole bunch of times, like no matter how well you build an engine, it can still go, especially if you put that engine through the ringer. When you're putting these expensive forged parts and whatnot, all you're doing is extending the life on it. You're not making it bulletproof. You're reducing the risk of blowing it up at higher levels. So you're still potentially going to fuck up your engine. So if anytime that you go into building a car and you're like, I'm going to build this engine so it don't blow up, that isn't a guarantee, guys. So you are always running the risk. Once you modify, it doesn't matter how well that engine is built, that something may give on it, especially if it's purpose driven. Like if you go out and drive it hard all the time, it's going to increase your risk. So if you're one of these people that like, I want this as my daily driver, but I want to build it right so it doesn't give out on me because I want to keep dealing this, then you're in the wrong thing to do. You want to modify a different car, get something else. Because if you want to keep 100% reliability on your as a daily driver, you gotta stay 100% stock. That's the only way to do it. So Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Especially for the H22, there's just no perfect way to do it unless you're going with aftermarket sleeves. So that's just that. I wanted to drop in that little tidbit. It's been a while since I've done an H22 update. So I'm exhausted now and fighting to keep my eyes open. Guys, thanks for watching and peace.